Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Dialed In on the 2019 KX450. Really excited when this Kawasaki came out. We got our introduction at Paula Raceway a few weeks back. Today we're out at Milestone and running through a bunch of settings, trying to come up with something for you. And I think we got something you'll really like. I was so comfortable on this bike immediately at Paula, I thought, maybe I was just having a good day. So I was curious to see what I would feel like right when I jumped on it today, and it was the same thing. I got on it and immediately felt like I'd been riding this all year. It's just a really comfortable, easy to ride bike. And the way the power is delivered, the throttle response, everything is just perfect. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. We did run through some different stuff. I ran through all the couplers again today. The soft coupler is soft. I really don't see a lot of people using it, but it's just very soft. The standard one is good. It's broad. It's usable for everybody. And then the aggressive one, the white one, green is standard, black is soft, the white is the aggressive coupler. And the white one is what I ended up staying with today, but it's very minor. I didn't notice it as much as I did the first time. I thought it was a bigger difference today. It was almost hard to tell a difference between the two. So I left it in. I would recommend one of those two. And then we also did some mapping changes to that. Kawasaki went in and created a map. We actually shot a picture of it so you can go in and adjust your percentages on there and mimic it. So look for that picture at below the video here today. And it just sort of cleaned up. Again, it's a subtle change, but it just cleans up little spots in that map that were you don't notice that there's anything to clean up until you put that map in, and it just sharpens everything up a touch. I guess that's the best way to put it. Very subtle change, but try it. You might like it. I don't think there's any chance you won't like it. So that was it. The engine is great. The gearing is great. I don't think anyone's really gonna need to change gearing on this thing. You're gonna like it with one of those, either the stock coupler or the white one. Throw in that mapping adjustment, and it's ready to go. The suspension. We went around on a few different things here. So again, your compression is standard at 14. Rebound is standard at 12 out. These are both out, so all the way in and out, those numbers. And sag they recommend at 104. So I ended up going to 105. I always like a little more sag. I just like my bikes to sit a little lower in the rear. Just a preference of mine. So at 105 sag, didn't touch any of the high speed or compression clicker, low speed compression clickers, or rebound for that matter on the shock. Left it, and it's great. It works so well. With the fork, it will tend to have a little bit of a soft feeling, and depending on where you're riding, if it's sticky deep dirt or sand, you may feel like the front end's diving a little bit too much. So there's some fixes for that Kawasaki recommends. You can go in on your clickers, which we tried doing, but as they said might happen, you lose some of that really nice, supple initial feel that this fork has. So what they're doing, they're recommending, this comes with a 5.0 spring, and they've tried a 5.2, and that seems to be a little bit much unless you're a really heavy guy. So what they did is put a 5.0 spring in one side, or left it, and then put a 5.2 in the other, which gives you obviously like a 5.1 type of balance. And that, they said that really has been a sweet spot for a lot of guys. So if you're kind of on the fence there where it feels a little too soft, but you don't want to lose that compliance, try doing that. So what we also did today, another change we made, I wanted to drop the forks, slide them up in the clamp. At times I felt like when I was coming out of turns, like the front end was just kind of light and high, and I wanted to see what it would do if I slid those up. It's just something I always try to play with. So they're sitting right now, they come stock at the top of the fork, and I dropped it down to the first line, or the second line. Obviously the top of the fork is the first line. The second line down is 5 mils. We dropped it down to there. It was a little too much then at that point. Again, once I got on the brakes hard, it really felt stink bug. So we tried going into clicks, then I lost that nice supple feeling. So what I ended up going to is I split the difference. I'm 2.5 millimeters, so I'm right in between the two lines. So 2.5 from the top, and then I'm just one stiffer on the compression clicker on the front, and that was it. That was money for me. That with my 105 sag was just perfect. This thing settles down in the ruts. I got a really nice compliant feel with the fork, but it's got great bottoming resistance. And I just felt like it rounded the whole thing out for me perfectly. And I will say that I believe this is the best fork ever put on a production bike. It's incredible. It's the best fork you'll probably ever ride with, unless you went out and bought work suspension somewhere. So anyway, very simple stuff we did. Again, the mapping does help. Check it out. There'll be a picture down below. You can sharpen that up. And there is the adjustments of the bars. You can go forward in 4 different positions. The pegs will drop down. As a short guy, I like them as far back and as high up as I can get them. And so that's where I left them. And I genuinely had no other complaints about this bike. I like the feel of these grips. They're a little bit hard, but they've got a little cutout notch for your thumb that's really comfortable. It's just if you're riding for a long time, they'll kind of wear your hands out because it's a very durable rubber. So they'll last forever, but your hands are going to be bright red like mine are today. Really, that's the only thing I'd change on this bike. You could jump on this thing and go racing. It's an amazing motorcycle. So far, my favorite in 2019. This is the bike I'm going to keep and ride for the year if they'll let me, just to give you an idea of how much I liked it. So I think you'll be stoked on these changes. They're coming with a new Dunlop tire now, the MX-33. So you don't even need to worry about that. Those are great tires. They used to come with Bridgestones that were just okay. Like I mentioned, gearing's good, so no other changes I'd make. Front brake's incredibly strong. The levers now have some give, so if you tip over, they don't just snap off. They've really crossed their T's and dotted their I's. So congratulations to Kawasaki. The new KX450 is a monster, and I love it, and you will too. Try these out and enjoy your 2019 Kawasaki. Thanks for watching.